Hey everyone, this video is to give you some guidance and directions, a little bit more detail for your subject evaluations for your evaluations 1 through 15. So we'll talk a little bit about those today and what those look like. And the same directions apply for all the evaluations that you'll do this semester's evaluations 1 through 15. You'll just use a different pre-filled out form from a subject. So the idea behind this assignment is that you will be looking at some different forms that a subject has filled out. It's all been filled out by the same subject that gives you insight into their health. Different aspects from maybe alcohol use to their physical activity to their nutrition, various things throughout the semester. And with each of those forms, you're going to look at how they filled out that form and then use the information that you've learned from this course and others to kind of evaluate where they stand and then maybe give some recommendations for what that looks like. So with that, you may have different subjects to choose from, or you may just have one depending on how it is assigned that semester. And so the first thing to realize is that for the entire semester, you're always going to use the same subject. So if you choose, let's say, subject 1, for every single evaluation that you do this semester will be on subject 1, and then it'll have kind of which form you're using. Is it form 1? Is it form 2? And it'll all be labeled for you. You may have the option to select, and whichever one you select will be the one that you use for the entire semester. So just keep that in mind. So in that, you'll have a subject folder. It'll be subject 1 or subject 2 folder, whatever. If that is available, you may have just one assigned to you, which will be the only one you can see. And in that, there are 15 forms that subject is filled out. They give kind of a subject profile. Same person kind of filled out all of those. And so each form looks a little different, may have some different information in there, and so you're going to need to connect that to their health. And so once you take that, look at that form, you're then going to evaluate the subject for their answers. You're going to give feedback on it. Are there things that maybe you've learned from looking at those forms? Are they really strong in that area? Are they weak? So in a stronger area, you're still going to want to comment on that of ways maybe they can improve or keep themselves going. But at the same time, in weaker subjects, you may have to give more suggestions and give more ideas of ways they can change that behavior using the strategies you learn in this course and in others, so that they can keep improving. So you'll use the information from this course to assist you. Others is fine as well, to improve aspects of their health, because each of those may look a little bit differently. Also realize that as we go, we're going to go in order 1 through 15. You may learn things in some of the earlier forms that are going to be helpful for you to use in later forms. So for example, you may learn in one of the forms some of the things that may be barriers for them to achieve certain behaviors. And so you may want to keep that in mind as you're going through. So maybe in the nutrition section, you see that they don't eat maybe necessarily how we think they should. Maybe they could use more fruits and vegetables. But in the barrier section that maybe you did earlier on, where it talks about barriers, they identified maybe they felt like they didn't have time, or they really enjoyed the taste of food, and that was a big barrier for them if it didn't taste well. So you may have to give recommendations on how to improve their nutrition, keeping those things in mind. Because part of the reason that it works this way is when you're working with individuals at any level for any different thing, you learn more information as you go. And so we kind of want to structure that the same here. So for each of these evaluations that you do, there's a separate Dropbox that's kind of linked in to the folder with that form for you to submit. They're labeled 1 through 15, just like the forms are. Try to keep it pretty simple. And so realize that the evaluations can be a combination of things. There's no set format. We do want it to look professional. You do want it to flow well. You want the information to be kind of easily to understand as well. But you can use a combination of text. You can use charts. Maybe you find a chart online that kind of illustrates something. Or maybe you take a chart from the form they filled out and kind of circle where they're at and talk about how they get to the next maybe improved category. You can use links to outside sources that kind of link that back, make tables. So maybe you're trying to give them a recommendation on a workout, and so you have a little table you've built on ways they can focus on that. So any information you want to relay. And so you're writing that to me as the professor, but I would like for you to kind of write it also in a way that could be presented to a subject. So almost assume that I am this particular subject that you're looking at and you're writing to me. Make sure you give some in-depth detail, things like that, but also making it where someone could follow this, or you could walk someone through this and they could utilize it to help them actually improve their health. So that's kind of the idea behind this. If you have questions, please shoot me an email. But I think as you do the first couple, it'll make a little bit more sense. And hopefully you guys enjoy this. So thanks so much, and we will talk to you guys later.